Okay, we're right back here, right or wrong. KFM.com, 89.5. I'm John Matthews. Glad you joined me tonight, guys. Hope you're hearing what I'm saying and really listening and learning something. We can all learn, and we all need to understand what's going on here in this great country of ours. Okay, we've been talking all night about our indictment on Barack Obama and his administration. We talked about how they're trying now to reinvent his image. They're going back into campaign mode because the agenda itself is falling at a rapid pace. And so now they've got to try to use the charisma and the personality of Barack Obama to salvage something in this administration. And, and it's not working. It's not working. One of the things that I think is one of Barack Obama's biggest faults, and I think people are realizing this, is he has the same fault I think that George Bush has, and that is they fail to see or fail to recognize when they're failing. They fail to see or understand or refuse to see or deny that what they're trying to do is not what the people want. I think even more so in Barack Obama's case, because he seems to think, I think his opinion is that he knows better for us what's for us than we ourselves, and I think that's what drives his agenda. I think his thought process is, once I get this done, once I get my agenda in place, everybody's going to see just how great it is, rather than understanding that we as Americans are not idiots, we're not stupid, we do understand what's going on, we just don't like it, we don't agree with it. I have an article here, Wednesday, February 17th, by Associated Press. It didn't have an author. I think nobody wants to own up to what they write. Obama says stimulus bill saved the troubled economy. This man will not acknowledge that his stimulus bill has done absolutely nothing to stimulate this economy. Barack Obama hailed Wednesday's one-year-old economic stimulus law as an accomplishment that staved off another Great Depression and kept up to 2 million people on the job. See, it's no longer, they didn't create 2 million jobs, they saved 2 million jobs. And we know that most of those jobs, if they saved them at all, they didn't save them. What they did was they dumped a bunch of existing organizations, jobs, and federal employment. And that's where most of the money went. And they said they saved those jobs, when in actuality, all they did was just pay back the people that put the money into their campaign to begin with. And he says, still, I know it doesn't feel like much of a recovery. That's because it isn't recovery, and that's his byline. We've done all these things. You people just don't see it, and you just don't, you don't feel like it's happening for you. Well, the reason we don't feel it's not happening for us is because it isn't. But Barack Obama fails to see that. He fails to acknowledge that his plan has not worked. He explained, as he has many times before, that the stimulus plan was composed of tax cuts, which they weren't. They were composed of tax credits, which in the end will cost Americans more in income tax. He gave most of the money to state governments to do things like Planned Parenthood and Pell Grants, and he had security benefits and huge investments in energy, education, and infrastructure. None of these things contributed to the economy. He says 1 year later, it's largely thanks to the Recovery Act that a second depression is no longer a possibility. This guy is oblivious to the obvious. He does not see the forest for the trees. And I think that's going to be his downfall, is that he just refuses to admit when he's wrong. Because I guess he's had so many people tell him that he's not wrong. He's like a childhood star who grows up being told that they're the cat's meow, and they become believe it, and they think they can do whatever they want. This is things like what happened with Tiger Woods. He admitted it. I thought I could do whatever I wanted. I'm famous, I'm rich, everybody loves me, everybody makes money off of me, I can do what I want, and nobody seems to care. That's the Barack Obama mentality. Another thing that he does here is that he caters to special interests, even though he says he doesn't. And one of the best examples of this is the idea here that he is really adamant about pulling off the census this year. But I want to share with you an article here by Hope Yen, Tuesday, February 16th, Associated Press. Millions wasted on census as head count approaches. Were those pricey Super Bowl ads a waste? Maybe not, but paying $3 million to census employees who didn't do any work surely was. The Census Bureau, a month away from its 2010 population count, has already wasted millions of dollars paying temporary employees who never did the work and others who overbilled for travel, according to excerpts of an audit obtained by the Associated Press. This is what they found in the audit. More than 10,000 census employees were paid $300 apiece to attend training, but they quit or were let go before they could perform any work, and it cost us $3 million. Another 5,000 employees collected $300 for the same training, but worked a single day or less. That was another $1.5 million. 23 temporary census employees were paid for car mileage at 55 cents a mile, even though the miles they reported were exceeded the number of hours they actually worked. Another 581 employees spent a majority of their time driving rather than working, and they were also paid for all that mileage. Other temporary employees were paid 58.5 cents per mile when the going rate was supposed to be 55 cents a mile, and that was at roughly $136,000 in addition to the millions of dollars that have already been wasted on a census. It means absolutely nothing except that it gives Barack Obama a means by which he can determine how to section off the voting bloc's country and where they need to focus their campaign money. That's what that's all about. But the point being is that he caters to the very interests that he claims he doesn't cater to. He puts money into special interests, into unions. He puts money into the community organizations, and all the people that get money from him put that money right back into his campaign. And he says that he's not a special interest person. Half of his cabinet are people that work for lobbyists, for crying out loud. So there's a hypocrisy here that the people see. He claims to be doing one thing, but he's always doing another. And that's one of the reasons that he's continuing to go down the tubes. All right, when we come back, we're going to continue our talk about the indictment of Barack Obama. So stay with us right here on Right and Wrong.